Welcome back to Mike's Archery, and we're here at the 2020 ATA show, checking out all the new products and all the new innovations from this year. So stay tuned to all our videos this week as we bring you some of the latest stuff from the archery industry. We're here at the 2020 ATA show, and we stopped in over at PSE. They announced today that obviously Mr. John Dudley is going to be joining the team here at PSE, and we were excited to hear that. And along with John came a new bow redesigned with some features that I think he's had a lot to do with putting into it. So we're going to kind of let John run through some stuff here and tell you about the new bow and the announcement of him being here at PSE. We're just excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. It's going to do a lot for our archery community, a lot for our followers, which that's really what was at the top of the list for me, is being able to bring something forward that our community can take part in, as well as myself. We had a very limited amount of time. Obviously, the transition is something that both companies involved have worked with for months. However, when it came to putting product on the floor, there was a very short window. I did shoot several of the bows. Two of the models that stuck out the most to me were the Mach 1 Stealth and the EVO 33.
And those have been my two picks. When we did bow reviews when they first came out, those were my two picks off the top of any bow out there, to be honest.
And I was very upfront with the guys of this cam system. I feel like is one of the most underrated cam system period that's out there. It's a great cam system, and honestly, once I've shot them, and because I wasn't really paying attention to what PSE was doing before, I realized that a lot of the things that I've shot over the past few years were actually innovations that were chasing something that was already out there. I think just the limb system and the cam system here is bulletproof, and it's certainly not anything I think I need to mess with. But on the 33, I've always been a big fan of a 7-inch brace height. I think for an overall forgiveness point of view, I think 7 inches offers a lot of forgivability, especially for bow hunters that are in colder climates like us and have to shoot thicker sleeves and things like that. So what I did was I took an EVO 33 and literally mounted the accessories on that I would normally shoot. This 25-year-old Sherlock or whatever.
It still works.
Yeah, I love it. But on some of the newer bows, especially some of the newer carbons, you didn't have clearance for this, so I actually had to go to like the old dovetail sights on a Supreme in order to modify. So I was able to put a lethal weapon style sight, which there's a lot of companies out there that have this style of a rover sight, and I needed to make sure I had clearance there. I mounted our rest that we really like, which is the Nock On Elevate rest. And when I mounted that, there was a few things that stuck out. On some of the current model PSEs, the way the riser shelf was cut, one of the wider whale tail blades was lifted up on the right side versus the left. So this riser's been flattened out and the angle is steeper to climb, so that you're able to have your limb-driven rest flat onto the riser. We've also dished out a trough on the front of the riser, so as your arrow's being forward, it's being cradled as well, so it's going to contain that. And you also notice that the riser's been changed so that there's two burger button mounts. So your secondary mount can actually thread in. You're not worried about just the compression of the washer. So you have the solidest mount that we've been able to have, looking back. The other thing is when I set the rest up, these were, again, a few things that I noticed I wanted to have. What I did was I actually took the cable splitter and I drilled it out so that I could bring the limb-driven cord directly to the cable splitter, which did two things.
That's kind of a cool feature, right?
Yeah, one, it reduced the amount of length of the cord that would go to the limb. Two, now it's eliminating that over travel that some bows have, especially target bows that have a more forward limb design. Those over travels is what was causing fall away or limb driven rest to smash down harder than what you set it at when you do your initial setup. So when this fires, it's not making that whale tail travel past where you've set it flat to the riser. So it gives you way more longevity on the rest, and you have way less cord stretch as well because that length is shorter. The other thing is I really wanted to build a feature into the riser to where if I'm hunting in a ground blind or if I'm practicing on the range, I can set this bow down. So for the longest time, I've wanted to build in threads that allow you to take essentially a kickstand stick like this, threaded into your riser, and you can stand your bow up. The other thing is you can take these two, you can thread them together like this to give you one solid piece, and when you remove this, you can put it in your quiver so that you can take your kickstand with you out to the blind. You know, you're just gonna have to take one less arrow with you. All right, from the kickstand, next is I removed the multiple holes for the sight mounting. Okay. I just feel like for the draw lengths and the poundages that are gonna most likely be sold in this, a standard height is gonna be fine. And what that allowed us to do was it allowed us to change the riser so that the cable rod is now embedded into the riser, so you don't have to worry about any movement from that dogleg style cable rod. That's been something that all the way back to when I shot high countries, or you know, even the first PSEs where you had the dog legs and the 2 set screws, it seemed like you put that thing in a truck vibrating down a gravel road or
something's
whatever.
always going to give.
Yeah, something's going to give. So you can see here the riser is actually cut out to fit this system. And although I've in the past been a big fan of roller guard type systems, I was really happy with the minimal amount of torque that this conventional style system has with the roller slide that they have in there. There was a few things that kind of really surprised me at how well they function, and things that I really just didn't give it a good enough chance, to be honest. But overall, this bow comes in at specs that I feel like covers a huge portion of the market. It is very user friendly, and they're super bulletproof. You know, this thing, I'll show you how the kickstand works. Pretty easy. Set your cam down, lean it forward. You've got a kickstand. I've shot with it since those rods are shorter and rigid.
Not in the way of anything.
Yeah, you don't have like vibration. There isn't like a twang, so it works great for in a muddy blind or in a redneck blind. Overall, I think what we, and I say we because we had a very short window, and I told these guys, based on the bows you sent me, on the EVO 33, I love that bow. Here's 10 things I'd like to see changed. A few of them were logos.
And you got 6 of them.
Yeah, and the other thing too is the Nock On models are going to be the only models available in the Gore Optifade. So the Subalpine pattern is going to be available along with the matte green riser for right now for this first run.
Good looking.
And yeah, they're going to be.
John, what are the specs on this bow? Are they similar as far as speed wise? Obviously, you still got 33 axle to axle.
Yeah, this is.
You did the 7-inch brace height, but speed wise and weight wise,
mid 320s. And what I've found out about the PSE cams is the option to be able to change your let off from that cam post stop is super convenient. And depending on what setting you're at, your speed ratings are going to change.
Fluctuate. And that's why if you ever look at this PSE spec chart, it usually gives a speed range, not a straight number usually.
Yeah, I think this is a very good spec. It comes in, you know, there's people that like the 34, there's people that like a 30. This comes in at that 33. It's got the bigger cam. Again, 7-inch brace height, so, you know, could we put a ½ inch shorter brace height on there and get that thing hitting right at a 3 number? Sure, we could, but from a forgivability point of view, you know, 4 or 5 feet per second doesn't do anything to your pin gaps.
Right.
Especially for a hunting style sight.
That's not what they're for.
Yeah, and the forgivability is awesome. Feels really good. They're going to be available in March or February. End of February is what they're saying.
Give it a couple months and we should have some on the shelf.
All right, they're turning the lights out on us here, but the other model you want to check out is the Carbon Mach 1. That bow is an eye-opener for anyone that likes carbon. The most important thing to me is that's 100% made in the USA. That's made in Tucson from start to finish, which I think is an important message. If you pick it up, you're going to know right away that it's different than any carbon out there. It's incredibly light, but you're going to be able to have the Nock On graphics and the Nock On color options on that Mach 1 as well. So
guys, it's awesome to have John on the team with PSE now. Be sure and check out his new edition bows, and we're looking forward to getting some in the shop so we can get them out there in your hands.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it, dude.
Thank you, sir.
See you, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Always give us some likes and comments in the section below, as well as follow us on all the social media with Facebook and Instagram.